declaration so high. It shows the love. I wish you can understand the vision I had for us. If we saw someone like him, honestly, I won't be here. I want to spend my time on it. So, we'll be in it. Mobilize up, mobilize down, and you don't see anything. So I told myself, I'm not mobilizing any woman again. I won't be used to mobilize. But this is a different one. I see light in that thick darkness, gross darkness. It will come and may not. Let me give you a testimony. And my experience with him. I'm into poultry. And I used to buy feed that you feed. I just put chicken that will open your mouth and eat your money, not feed. Grow now, they won't grow. So one day in his office, I was complaining about this poultry, this chicken. I said, why don't you buy this feed? That he bought that feed and he sells the chicken at 4 weeks. I said, what? 4 weeks? And I started giving an address again. And truly, I'm benefiting from that. So these are some of the benefits that you may not understand. It's not just coming to get cash. The information is power. It's the key. It's money. It's wealth. You may not have the cash, but if you have it for ideas, ideas rule the world. The richest people in the world are people of ideas. Men and women of ideas. So that idea alone, at least now, 4 or 5 weeks and above, I'm ready to go. Another benefit, now I have currently a batch of birds that should go out. And I want to bring in another set. So my friend that called me saying, I called you. I said, okay, well, I said, I'm chamber. I said, oh, they promised. I'm so surprised that the promise is never a chamber. That's so many of them. So many, you see, come here. The chamber will come out. They come out all the time. The business tycoons in every state, in Nigeria, in the world, all those that have the money, Facebook, call them. And if you know them, I'm not very good at those names. They are all in business and they are all in chambers. You have state chambers, you have national chambers, you have world chambers, and these are the opportunities they have. The opportunities you can have. The opportunities you can take advantage of. You've been planning to go travel things, not to travel and disappear or go and do something else. But if you travel genuinely for business, and I've been turning you down in visa, you'll be surprised that this chamber can actually help you. Because the world is so sensitive now, the world system is so sensitive now because of the crime in the airport around, that they need strong recommendation, credible recommendation. They don't even trust individual recommendation, but they trust chamber commerce all over the world. So if a chamber recommends you, you can't buy that with money. So as I was saying, I now to tell you that I called my brother. If it's my sister, Bible will say one election. I said, my brother, I need market food. He said, what is it? I said, I have to chicken. He said, it's okay, call my manager. That is it. So you have something to sell. That day, one of the people who came here, I was going to buy something worth reasonable amount of money. And I asked here, is anyone in business, that sort of business, yeah? Unfortunately, no. Because the house was not full. But if there was somebody here, I would not leave the salary if you keep community price, and I know it's a good product. You won't leave your person and go outside. So that of networking, the benefits of networking, you can't qualify. One of the first time I come from India, this is my sister, welfare, I always go there. And if you visit that center, just stay with them, you must buy it. Not that you want to buy, because she has good items. So like the president herself said, the Bible says, but what you were saying by prayer will not help you. The Bible says that faith without work, faith is the prayer, not so. It says without work is dead. And a dead thing cannot produce anything. say, whatever your hand finds doing, do it. In other scriptures, say, what is that in your hand? God will always ask you, what is that in your hand? Elisha knew he was going to bless the woman of the Shunammite woman. When she ran to him, he said, what do you have? You must have nothing. He said, no. What do you have? Go and look. What is it? What is it? He said, oh, except small quantity of oil. God will look for that thing. So don't ignore that thing in your hand. How do I start? Start. 1 naira, start. If the person says you don't even have money, go and if you come today, for example, I'm just an example, and you can have many examples like that. Go to somebody who's producing something. All he needs is like credibility, integrity. Take your integrity and credibility to that value. But I want to sell this. How much do you sell? Where is the benchmark? Say this. So it is above that, it's sure. You raise the capital. So you don't really need to stay and look at wait till when I have. No. You have our bank, for example, by the grace of our president. God and our president. We have some banks that are willing to help women. I know that when they stand around, like the Unity Bank here, they are ready to help women. Why? Because God gave us opportunity. The overall boss now is a woman. And as the bounded there, and what will that when you assume to see the first assignment at the college is women, how to inspire women. And of course, they won't come to a individual like me. How do they know? They came to the chamber. One day my phone rang. DG called me. So somebody's going to call you down, but we didn't even see what is on ground. They came to the chamber. So most information, most lessons that will come in, if government wants to bless now, all this loans you see as government gives. They give to microfinance, they give to central bank, they give to this. The easiest way you can access, especially to fill that their form, that's where they make sure you feel better. They give you a Kumbazo form that you can offer the field. But you know, the chamber have that and days that this will come here to attend to members. So if you want loans, there are days because they advise you exactly what to do. And the chamber is standing as the collateral for the fact that you remember here, they have more credibility, more confidence in giving you that loan. So these are some of the benefits that you can quantify. Then, most importantly is, like he has said, if you have food on your table, whether dollar is $1 million to $1 to 1 million naira, you will not feel it back so much. Because food is the basic thing. What makes a woman cry and mourn, fast sleepless nights, is she cannot feed the family. Can't feed the children, can't wash. So let's compact every available space you have. Even your compound there, you may have a small space, have small land, have small whatever, any. You see all these men's bags. Men, that is it. Vegetable, jute bags. All these bags that, they form what they call the field of refuge. Refuge, I mean. Convert it to family implements. You can plant vegetables there. You have plant your vegetables, plant your pepper. Plant everything though. If it's one that grows, and the cross take root, you hang it somewhere. And you have a garden. So convert all available space you have to agriculture. If you have some beds, say about 10, 20 beds, and they start laying eggs for you, you won't buy it. Yeah. You know that? Yeah. Eggs are very costly now. But if you determine I'm going to use that, nothing. You just feed them. It's only when they're in large stock like that you think of feeding the costly stuff. But best you and I know that they eat anything. You'll be able to afford 1 bag of feed. And if you chop right for her kids, then they will chop. Just make sure in time in this season, give them that and laying mesh. Before you know it, 1 year, your house a crate of eggs every day. It depends on the quantity. So we are here to rub minds together to see how we will surmount this new normal. Whether it's old normal or new normal, if we put our agents together, come together, push on mountains. If you produce anything, the last time we came, most of you were here, I bought I hope you don't bring that into this. But I start to bring, but the danger I have is, I don't eat gari, I only eat gari every day. Because of course, you want to add me. But you see, these are food that I don't know whether people get on like I get. Now that's what to know to buy, and I bought. She said that this is the lesson for you. With that. Very, very, very nice.
Very nice.
My dad, good. Stop very fast. So what they expect to say is anyhow, today she must sell one bag to him today. If you belong, if you come together, whatever you are producing, don't ask yourself that no market. Please, that is negativity. Put a positive thinking. That is the prayer area is coming. You pray about put the faith in it. After praying, produce, then believe, and it will sell. If not, encounter me for you, come and tell me. My sister, where is my boyfriend? Toothpaste is everywhere. But in there again, she used her mouth and her tongue and all the sugar in her mouth convinced me to buy her toothpaste. He said the trial will convince you. And of course I bought it and I saw. I now can tell her that it is good. So you keep us their product, but make sure you keep us that standard that NAFTA told us. Yes. You know what is the extension of that? NAFTA wasted their time, they spare their time, they spare their time to come. Because they love you and I. They came, they catered us, someone came, exports could not come that day because we are responsible to not for so short. But because of chamber, let me have to pull this beautiful woman out of her seat. She's here with authority, representing her boss. So she's not here alone. I, in my capacity, I tell you, it's not possible. I'll try to reach this office when you go yourself and you can't. But just one call, the chamber. NAWORG chamber, okay, they are here. If you couldn't come, she's here, class. And so she's here today. We have this is the member of the chamber, a chairman of the trade too. Family is the child of export. We have enough market in Nigeria. The population gives us an advantage. But you also have relations that are abroad. Am I right? Yeah. We have relations that are abroad that you can use, you do something here. I remember when I posted my sale, I received several calls from abroad. Don't package that now. I have to package to standard now. That is what it is here. So you must have been producing many things. Like I told my secretary, I said if you have to go abroad, people will rush it. So that let the dollar, in fact you will pray let the dollar to be increasing because you have something to exchange to get it. Women oh yes, yeah. So dollars increasing, God don't give us the wisdom to tap all this knowledge that is existing. So export people are here to tell us how to package it. So if we cannot sell it here, or we sell it here, we must still sell it abroad. So Fidelity is here, but they came another time, they are here, have opened accounts, and we are in the process. Those of you who will need assistance, when they now see that your product is of standard, is of NAFTA standard, is of some standard, is of export standard. Of course, with NAWORG in chamber, with our president there, they will willing to give you loan. One more testimony. After the meeting, the last meeting, one of our friends who came here, the woman leader from Tegema, she called me. He said, President, come said, give me that matter because that's what is the problem. It has to do with consumer production rights. And then somebody supply something, it's not good, and you are speaking grammar. I said, no, but that's that. Call some. Stop is the one that we need to make them quickly. Give me the number. I sent the number. And he called. I've not asked her to find out this. They said, okay, they're going to take it off. Me alone, of course, I know even know some. I only know some exists, but to go there. But she, just one meeting alone, she knew where to go. She called me, I also called, I gave her number. I'm sure she'll transport that provision, not just accord it. And I will accord the chamber who have problems. Please help us add their voice. And that's what I made it easy. Thank you very much for believing in us. President, once more. Thank you. Members of the high table. Sorry,
Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon, members of the high table. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so pleased to be in your midst this afternoon. Just as I've been introduced, I'm Mrs. Evelyn Kobo, the HOD, Head of Department, Product and Market Division, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, South Regional Office, Port Harcourt. My regional coordinator was supposed to be here. In fact, when the letter came, he was thinking it was last week Tuesday. So later, we received another message that is today. But he's unavoidably absent because of another official engagement. We didn't know that the meeting would be today, so we accepted as another engagement, thinking it was last week Tuesday. So this is greeting. Without wasting much of our time, I did a paper here, but I don't think there will be need for that now. So let me just give a brief about Nigerian Export Promotion Council for those of us that maybe are hearing the name for the first time. Nigerian Export Promotion Council was established in 1976 with the mandate to promote non-oil exports so as to diversify the nation's economy, which to a great extent depends on crude oil exports. And we can all attest to the fact that as Nigerians, crude oil has failed us. There is need for us to diversify our economy. So the Council also performs the following three functions: promote the development and diversification of Nigeria's export trade, assist in promoting the development of export-oriented industries, play a leading role in the creation of export incentives to support the export sector, to actively articulate and to promote the implementation of export policies and programs of the Nigerian government with special interest to encourage women entrepreneurs. The Council created the Women in Export Division. I think that's a good news for women entrepreneurs. There is a special department called Women in Export. So even our previous executive directors don't play with anything women. They give keen attention to women in export. Because just as the saying goes, that when you build a woman or you empower a woman, you have empowered a community, a nation, not just that household. We have our requirements for registration as an exporter. We register limited liability companies, we register cooperative society, we register government and non-governmental organizations, and we have different documentations required for this registration. For limited liability companies, we need your certificate of incorporation, your certificate, true copy of your memorandum and articles of association, and your certified true copy of Form CAC 07. For cooperative society, we need your certificate of registration, then your bylaws. For NGOs, we also need them. And there are some specific functions, or should I say available incentives for registered exporters, women inclusive. When you're registered with us, there are some things that you enjoy as part of us. We say participation in NAPC free training. We do a lot of free trainings. In fact, next week we're going to be having 2 workshops. These workshops are free. At times we bring in resource persons even from outside of the country. We bring in resource persons from Lagos, Abuja, wherever, as long as we are sure of what they are going to deliver. And we don't charge fee for our workshops. We also do free capacity building and seminars. He said you can also be part of NAPC participation in international trade fairs and exhibitions. When I came in here this morning before we started, I went to BG and I was asking him about the international trade fairs being organized by NACCIMA. We can do it. There are international trade fairs that our office takes part in. At those international trade fairs, if you are registered with us and you have your products, just as our president said, it is very important for us to have our products. It could be physical products or your products could be services that you render. And we encourage you to meet the necessary requirements standards for those products. When you have your products and you are interested in participating in any of those trade fairs, what to do as a registered exporter? You just come to the office and pick a form for 500 naira, indicating your interest in participation for such fairs. And when you do that, they will ask you to come with samples of your products on the special days we call it briefing. They will brief you about the country you're going to for the fair. They will look at the samples of your products, your labeling, your packaging, everything about the product. If there are areas that you need to maybe do some adaptations, you will be advised on what to do. Then everything concerning your ticket to the country of the fair, your ticket will be processed by NAPC. And your cargo, as in your luggage, your products to the country of the fair will be taken care of by NAPC. You don't need to do that. Then your ticket will be paid by you. Then when you get to the country of the fair, you pay for your accommodation, the transportation from your place, the place of your accommodation to the venue of the fair will be taken care of by NAPC. If it is a country that don't speak and understand English, NAPC will pay for an interpreter. NAPC will also provide for you a pavilion for the exhibition of your product. The essence why we go to this length for this is for you to be able to make business contacts, not just for you to come in and sell your products and go. And that is one of the most effective means that we have discovered we use in making business contact and market for our exporters. So it was just during the period of COVID-19 that this process slowed down a little. But for now, we have picked it up again. So when we do that, we encourage you, and it is only to registered exporters. There's another training we do. We call it Zero to Export training. When I came in, I saw one of our madam here that she was part of one of the batches of that training. This training will bring in a resource person. I think the first batch they did in Port Harcourt. You bring in those that are registered with us that indicated interest. They will be trained from 0 points at a point where they knew nothing about export to the point where they did their first export trial. And NAPC, they formed them into a cooperative and also gave them a startup fund. I think madam, you people were giving, was it 500,000 naira then? And yes, for them to enroll them to start their first export trial, and they did it successfully. We also have a program for the youth. Some of the women entrepreneurs that are still youth, they call it Youth Export Development Program, where youth are also trained. Then, outside of that, we also encourage our registered entrepreneurs, exporters, all women inclusive. In fact, the last one that was done in this area, more emphasis were laid on women, on non-mandatory certifications. We all know of NAFDAC, we all know of SON. Those ones are mandatory certifications. For you to export your product out of Nigeria, you must have them. But there are some certifications that are not mandatory, but they are necessary to give you an edge in the international market. We have FDA, especially for the United States of America. We also have HACCP, Hazard Analytical Critical Control Points. These certifications is to give you an edge when you are contacting with maybe somebody that wants to import with you. At times they will ask you, Liz, I have social certification. It gives you an edge over some other companies that don't have. So, and these certifications as an individual or even a company, for you to get them, they are so expensive. Because at times the experts come from overseas to maybe inspect your factory and the other processes involved. But what it also did, what we started doing from last week is we bring in people, some of these exporters that are registered with us, and we pay the processes involved. We bring in the experts. At times they even did oral interview with them because we told them that we know them. We have gone to their facilities and their facilities are open. I'm glad to inform you that one of our madam here, Chairman, Madam Chairman, please, can you do the house? Big chinky. You don't fry the chinky. Yes, she's a beneficiary. That's right, she's a beneficiary. Our company now has FDA certificate. So she can export her products to the United States of America. And I met her in one of these kind of workshops where I was invited to come and to women. After that, she came to the office and registered. And since then, she has been doing well. To save our time, there are also other incentives. This one we call it Export Development Fund. It's a pre-shipment incentive. This one grants were given to registered exporters, women inclusive. And I'm glad when it started with this sensitization workshop, many of our persons here were asking, will you work, will you work? But I'm glad that I know over 5 women in Port Harcourt that got this grant. Not less than 5 million each. Some of them got up to 10 million. And it's grant. It's not low. They are not going to pay. And the essence of this incentive, this grant, is to help you grow your business. I'm so glad that some of our women benefited from it. And I want to encourage us, because I am from River State, I'm from South. And even if you're not from River State and you have been residing here for years, you're not from this state. Because whatever affects the state affects you. We find out that when we go out, you see women in the north. Some of them cannot even speak good English. But they are doing greatly in business. And when these opportunities come up, they don't play with it. They grab them. Even in the West. So at times, most of us from here, when I see our women drawing back, it pains me. But recently I am happy that we have started coming up. And we believe that we'll do better. We also have the Export Expansion Grant. That one is specifically for those that have exported. If you can export up to 5 million in a year, you are entitled to that. Then, those are some of the incentives that are registered exporters benefit. Sorry about that. For the council. Then I came up to say any business legacy in the area of women empowerment. The creation of women in export division in NEPC to encourage women entrepreneurs. Collaboration with International Trade Center Geneva for enrollment of registered women exporters on She Trade platform. How many of us know of the She Trade platform? Yeah, amen. You can attest to the fact a lot of free trainings with certificates. We also issue certificates. They also do B2B meetings. They do matchmaking on that platform. The essence of the platform, NEPC is one of the verifiers in Nigeria. If you are registered with us and you want to register on the platform, we verify you. The essence of it is, just as our mommy said, if I have a business to do in South Africa, instead of me to go to the open market where we have a lot of men competitors, why don't you interface with another woman in that country? So in the sense that if a woman entrepreneur in South Africa wants to import shea butter, for example, from Nigeria, just go to the platform and see another woman in Nigeria that is into shea butter. Instead of you going into the open market, the platform encourages women to encourage one another, because it is only when we support and encourage one another that we can grow. And even the past president of NAWORG was sponsored by NAPC to attend one of the conferences, ship-based conferences in London. So those are the things. At times when some of these conferences come up, you can also write to our head office and say, this is from NAWORG. We want to participate in this. Maybe we don't have enough resources to do that. If it is when there is available fund, the ED is always very glad to listen to such from women. And another area also, outside that, if there is an area of need, maybe you want to train your women on packaging, or maybe on a specific sector, and you don't have enough resources to do that, you can write to our office, inform us on time, and the person in charge of trade, of women in export, in our regional office there. If you do that, we can follow it up. It may not be immediately, but we involve it, we'll put it in our work plan. And so for them, we can come and do plan a workshop in collaboration with the organization and train women in maybe specific sector. So those are some of the things we do. And even last year, there was a specific grant for women. 1.5 billion was set aside by the council, and it was called Women Inclusive Fund for women alone. Even with the fact that women benefited from the Export Development Fund, this one the council said this one will be specifically for women. Men are not going to compete with them, and that money up to 1.5 billion was given to only women entrepreneurs. And for any company to benefit, it's either your MD or your ED is a woman, or 80% shares of that company belongs to a woman. So those are some of the things we do. And say there is need for women entrepreneurs to embrace non-oil export and benefit from the incentives provided for by NAPC for diversification of our economy, which presently depends on crude oil export to a great extent. I believe that if we encourage ourselves and we continue in this spirit, we are going to do great. And NAPC is always available. Any area we can partner with you to make sure that your product is of standard for export. We are always there. Thank you so much.
Pay any money. It is free and free. The knowledge is free. And so, Madam said, I know I have some questions I'm going to ask. And you know, just to cap it off, to register with NAPC, you don't even need to walk into the office anymore. Madam, am I correct? I sat down in the comfort of my home and made the first registration. Go and take it. I saw it, just sent it in my email. I printed it. This one for 2022. I've already done it in the comfort of my home. Just pay your money. And that is it. So let us not take what we're hearing for granted. Last meeting we had, last forum, one of our speakers told us something. She said, it's not all about the information. It's what you do with the information you get. That's what makes a difference. Something was said about fun and not that last. I don't know what we did with it. Don't drop it. This is follow on what we did last time, and we are still doing. And so I believe that at the end of the day, we will have people who will come and say, like just like that Madam said, we were able to, point her hand, and she was telling us that she's a beneficiary of what Madam is saying. I want to say that from this, our tenure, madam, we will have more beneficiaries. We will have exporters. People we don't have exporters in Chamber of Commerce. We will make, in fact, come from the women wing.
Our men, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay.
When the women will start, oh yes.
Yes, sir. Please let's get encouraged. The matter you're sitting down here, the owner of Harcourt College, when she came in, she was saying that we talked about her before. She had an experience and all that. But to the capital today, as I'm talking to you, I don't want to reveal to you what she's even doing. Just as you're hearing, just as you're being encouraged, she was encouraged, and that is it. Chamber of Commerce teaching was the one that helped her to go this far. She has gone. Please let's come to take over here for her. Thank you very much, madam.
Happily with the convener of this meeting. It's not easy to know that the person convening other women, this purpose, which for me is purely business, is also a woman. So, Ma, we are very grateful to you, and we thank you for this privilege of us to be speaking to our women. I also want to thank the NPC for being here. I thank also chiefs who have been seated. In fact, I think he came earlier than most participants in this meeting, and we've been discussing ourselves. I'm asked to do a very brief walk, and I'm not going to make it mysterious. A very simple one. The truth remains that women, the word women is a business. The word women is a what? It's a business. So being a woman, see yourself first as a business. And I can go on and on. Women, can you clap for yourself? That's my way of praising you. And that's why, even in the house of a king, when a woman is born, the man who is the king is celebrating already. You know why he's celebrating? He's already seen traditional marriage. He's seen wedding. He's seen businesses. He's seen ownership of, many enterprises to come. No wonder some kings end up struggling to release some of their first daughters, because they see you as very enterprising. And what we are here to do today is just to take what you already have and see how to place it on the international market. And that's what we call export. So it is not, we are not coming here to teach you business. We believe you are already doing business. And if you are not already doing business, welcome to the Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce. You will talk business and you will get busy in business. While I was seated, waiting for this, my turn that has finally come, I heard the president of this chamber talking, and I want to quote from the scripture to support what he said to us, because I know a lot of us are Christians, and we might have understood him much more than he was explaining. But I want to bring a scripture to support what he was saying. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18, which is what he also quoted. And I want to read it verbatim so that you will agree with him and also agree with me, because I agree with him totally. That thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee the power to make wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. So for God to establish his covenant which he sware to your fathers, so if there was a prophecy on your father, God is saying, I want to fulfill it. And he's saying, even as it is this day. So even though he has given you a prophecy, I will make you rich, I will make you go international, I will make you go to the 7 continents of the earth. God says, he is going to do that when you know what, remember him. What will he do? He will give you the power to make wealth. So it is the power to make wealth God gives to us. And before the president made a speech, I was talking to my colleague and I told her that God has never failed in any of his promises to us. So women, I thank you for all your prayers. And I'm also a prayer warrior. You heard my profile is very rich. That's to include the fact that I'm also a pastor. Okay? And I can tell you categorically that what God gives to you is not money. God has never thrown money at anybody. He didn't throw it at Adam. He didn't throw it at Abraham. He didn't throw it at Isaac. He didn't throw it even at Jesus. What he gives us is what? The power to make wealth. Some few weeks ago, we were asked in church to lift up our hands and raise point of contact. And somebody raised ATM card up. And my wife, in a very dramatic way, draw the hand of the person down. Bring that ATM. I say contact. How is ATM card a contact for us to pray for? And when she got home, I asked her, why did you do that? She told me that there is this misbehavior happening in church. People just want money in their bank account. How the money comes into their bank account, they don't care to do what? To know. Coming to the topic that is placed before us, I decided not to bore you with. You need to call Vivian for me. Okay, she's there. So, the topic before me is to prepare you for export. She has started preparing the Nigerian woman for export. And I want to say that coming from our department, the agri department, I will be delving into some parts of agriculture, but that is not to say that it's not for everybody. It's a general overview for everybody. And I am so happy that NBC is fully seated and represented here. And she has also done justice to tell us the reason why we should be more conscious of exports, get involved in export and start exporting. I want to say that most times when you look around you will say you are not seeing what to export. Okay? I shall be talking about export and you'll be wondering, what am I going to export? I'm going to go through some of them today, and then by the 16th, when we come again, we will also complete it. I know that I have very few time to talk to us, so I'm not going to go through all. So first, the first thing we are going to be looking at here is what is called aquaculture. Aquaculture is something you're already familiar with, and I want to say, forget about the big names to be hearing, because we go to plenty school, sometimes big grammar can come, but today we will break everything down to everybody's level. So even though you're from my village here, and you have come and never gone to school before, you will understand what I'm saying. And that's actually the way I teach. I'm a teacher, not just a lecturer. So, and also I was born by a teacher, so I carry in my blood, inside my DNA. So the first is aquaculture. What is aquaculture? Aquaculture is all that you do with the water to make production, fish and related animals that dwell in the water. So it's not any big word. So if you go to the stream, you'll discover that there is frog inside water. So it's not only fish that is inside water. So if we say fishery, we are taking away some major exportable items. And madam here from NPC will let you know that on the international market, frog has more value than even some fishes. True or false? Yes, because there are many countries that are waiting for frog. But I want to say here that a lot of us don't even value frog. And some even forbid seed, not to talk of touching it. It's just right.
Yes, my God. It's a bit funny.
All right. So we say 40% of the global economy comes from fishery and the aquaculture business. In the Niger Delta here where we are, Port Harcourt to be precise, we are already sitting on oceans. All right? Even where you're seated now is an island. Do you understand? You can actually find water all around Port Harcourt, all around Livestock, all around Niger Delta, and all around Nigeria, except in the Sahara areas. Water is endless and it is in full abundance, and because fishes in this natural environment are becoming fast depleted due to exploitation coming from oil and gas. That's not the area we want to do today. Making them incapable to sustain the global increasing population now approaching 8 billion. So the world population is 8 billion. So when you talk about exports, you have 8 billion customers waiting for you. But when you talk about national business, Nigerian business, you have 200 million people waiting for you. And when you talk about river states, you have just about what we call 12 million in a day, and in the night you have only 8. So you have about 4 million people that don't stay in Port Harcourt, but they come into Port Harcourt in a day, and I can explain to the market women. Now, those of you who do business within the OIB area, you notice that there's a lot of population in the daytime. They come to buy, they come to sell. Then in the night, you see a lot of buses standing by to carry them. They are coming from neighboring states of Ekpeye, Abia, Imo, some of them even up to Anambra. They come down to just do business and immediately they do what? They go. Now that is just oil mill. Can I also tell you that in GRA here, let's not go too far. Just on my left here, if you cross the line, now all the hotels you see in GRA, they actually expect goods every day. And most of these goods don't come from you, the Port Harcourt women. They come from the women in Ekpeye, in Abia, in Imo, in Enugu, in Anambra. They come into GRA here and supply all the things. You and I will later go to the hotels to eat. And they sell it and they go back. They don't live here, no residency, they don't even pay taxes, nothing. They appear and disappear. So about 4 million people come into Port Harcourt every day and disappear in the thin air in the night and come again the following day to do more business and go back. Now, we also discovered that there is another sect that stays between 8 in the evening. They come in when it is dark. As it is getting dark, when the officialdom of the town is getting over, that's when they come in to spread their stuff. Like clothes. The same road where you pass to your house. By the time you come around 8 to do this inspection, you see that everywhere is now a shop. Heavy market going on. Fresh food, fresh fruits, vegetables, everything. They are not coming in from here. So when we say you should take charge of an environment, one of the things you need to do, bring down your eye and see what is needed among your people. The residency of Port Harcourt is very, very fascinating when it comes to buying and selling. We buy a lot here. I was asking a few weekends ago, I said, we buy almost everything. What are we actually producing? I'm sure a lot of you shopped over the weekend. And within this week, you will shop again. That you go to buy things. And then we have a new way of buying it now. We go to supermarkets. That's the most deceiving aspect of it. We go to supermarket, we go to malls, we just buy. And then this happens in Texas, not even here in Nigeria. A woman came into the mall to buy with the child, and then after buying, as they were walking out, I think it was maybe somebody from their own promotion council, their export promotion council, like Madame. And they walked up to the young man and said, "Excuse me, sir, where do we produce rice? And he just turned and faced the mom and told the man, here, that is rice is produced where? In supermarket. Is it not correct? And rice is produced where? Because since he was born, all he does, if he needs rice, he will go there and do what? And buy. So it is produced where? In supermarket. But actually, we have rice farms and we have rice mills here in Nigeria. Now, COVID-19 was not the hallmark of the challenges that we are facing in this country. We have Ebola, right? And we have other ones that came. Now, I can tell you that before COVID-19, there was a challenge that we are not going to have rice, to consume again, and the price of rice was in the sky. We are importing rice of all nature from everywhere, and all we were telling ourselves on phone physically is to make one rice from another country. And then the challenge started. States started big challenge to produce rice. And it took Anambra State only 4 years to start producing rice and become the highest producer of rice. Madam, am I correct? So, I am very glad that NPC is here and we can talk and relate with them. You cannot imagine that this production of rice has not only fed Nigeria, has not only fed Africa, but it's feeding the world now. Now, is it that it is only Anambra that is producing rice? No, I only said they are the highest now. Almost every state, including River State, is producing what? Rice. The question is, do you know the farm? If you want to export, you must know what? The farm. If you don't position yourself to know the farm, you cannot what? If you don't position yourself to know the farm, you cannot be part of the export. Now, is it only those who are farming that will export? No. Most farmers are not exporters and they are not interested in what? In exporting. So, as a woman who came for this program today, you can leave this hall now as an exporter. You don't need to be a farmer. How do you do that? Because we came here to prepare your mind for export, to prepare you for export. How do you do that? When you identify where the farm is, I'll talk about aquaculture, and I mentioned frog, and then I was seeing the scary faces. In fact, I was actually told it's scary. Then it's not just frog, you have other things like the turtle, you have the turkeys, you have the crocodiles, and all in that family that is needed all over the world. And I'm going to move from that and go to the next one that we are very used to here in Port Harcourt. It is called horticulture. It's called what? Horticulture. Now, the good thing about horticulture, sorry, forget about the big name. And they talk about flower. Flower. Did you get the way I pronounce it? Flower. Not be sure what they call it. Flower. So, now, horticulture, which is next to aquaculture in the ranking of Niger Delta agribusiness capabilities, is the cultivation of crops that yield food for consumption within few months to less than 1 year, while some of such crops turn over their products several times within a year and continue to yield in few years before the lifespan expires. Others keep regenerating insofar as they are well maintained. About 8 months intensive rainfall annually in Nigeria make the place a horticulture comfort zone. Such horticulture products in Nigeria, especially in Niger Delta, heavily endowed with include but not limited to plantain. So plantain is a flower. Take it from this place that plantain is a what? It's a flower. Banana, pineapple, pawpaw, eggplant, spices, and vegetables, to mention but a few. whoever invests in any of them on the industrial scale is bound to be reckoned with nationally and internationally. Now, the beauty of this thing, I will take from what Shepherdson talked about. You have space in your compound, right? Now, even Olberry Vivian here, she confided in me that she started her agribusiness from her space. But today she's no longer in a small space. She is now looking, in fact, if you have now, she will come and buy your own and add to her own. She is looking for space. I want to plead with us. That space that you would like to put interlock, pour cement, make it so watertight, and I want to add airtight. It's not good for you. For those of you who have the privilege to come to my compound, you will discover I don't have any of that. Anytime people jump in and say, well, you know, interlock place, I don't have money. And I don't have money. I don't have money to interlock it. But if you stay more and you insist because you know me, and I cannot be saying I don't have money to interlock, if you insist, I will not tell you the truth. Every space here is doing a work for me. Every space here is doing a work for my fish. Every space here is doing a work for my plantain. My house is actually a farmhouse. So I must have my vegetable grow, and I cannot carry cement and lock out everywhere they are supposed to breathe from. And even you, when you sleep in the night, that air you breathe before they breathe for 12 hours. Because I'm sure some of you go out in the day, so you say, I'm not always at home. Then in the night, you come and sleep now. You stay at home from 6 p.m. till about 6 a.m. in the morning. That's about 12 hours, right? And then you're breathing from the interlock and breathing from the cemented area. Where is the fresh air coming from? Where is your egg? The egg around you even breathing through. So don't lock everywhere. And if you have locked everywhere, go and unlock. Okay? So, I went somewhere last week and, you know, my son told the person that gave me banana. He said, I don't eat this type of banana. And the person was dragging with his hand. He said, eat banana. And you know what he said? He said the banana is too small. So when I discovered that the fight was going on, I stepped there and I told the man, he will not take it. The banana is actually small. Our bananas are very big. So he's used to the what? The big banana. So for you to give him a banana that is empty, that he's looking at it as a thick banana. But I understand that this one was a native word, banana, but he doesn't understand that. As he grows, he will understand. So, God has a way of breathing into whatever you do. The next I want to talk about is called arboriculture. Arboriculture is the cultivation of fruit-bearing trees and shrubs. It's synonymous with the Niger Delta, but full advantage is not yet taken because of oil and gas business. Here we call it oil and gas blindness. Oil and gas what? Blindness. Now, how many persons in this hall have lifted 1 barrel of oil? Let me see your hand. You have lifted officially, legally, not illegally, not even illegally. 1 barrel. Okay, so even though they want to discuss oil and gas, you will not be there because you are not a player. And I tell you something, oil and gas is more close a business than drugs. Did you hear me? Let me calm down. I'm not pushing the different lecture. Move, right? I said that oil and gas is a more locked business. That is, everybody should go out. You see, when they lock the house and they are asking everybody to go out, just imagine you in a strange room and everybody is being asked to get out of the room and they are locking the door. That is the That's how you can visualize what? Oil, gas. They don't want you. For your information, they don't want you in the business. Your presence is a threat. You know why? You come from a country that produces oil, so you are not supposed to be inside the house when they are discussing it. And then to make it work for you, you are from Niger Delta. Maybe the oil is even on your plot of land. So that is the more reason why you must excuse them when they are discussing it. So if you don't want to excuse them, they will push you out. Very few years ago, not very long, a lot of us were alive and well here in Port Harcourt when NACCIMA matter came up. And they excused NACCIMA people out of their land. Are they in their land? They are not there. They don't excuse them. Today, NACCIMA people are still protesting. You saw the last video. And as I talk to you now, there is one that is looming, if not that the state government is doing everything to just calm the nerves. The matter is in court now. They must excuse you. And then for your information, maybe oil was not giving you enough trouble. Gas has come. And that one, they say they want to take it from your nose first. If the gas is in your nose, they will take it off. So make sure they do what they get. So it is more delicate for you to keep your family, and like a young man called me yesterday and said he has only worked 2 months this year. And I said, why have you worked only 2 months? He said they have not called me back to work. So I don't have money, I need money. I said, why are you not doing business? The last time you got money, I told you, set up a business for your wife. That's why I like that prayer, Vivian prayed for men that are supporting our women. I said, set up a business for you because they will not be calling you every time to oil and gas work. He's a welder. So when you finish welding the part, they will excuse you, isn't it? They call it redundancy. They give it any name. In fact, sometimes if you don't want to go, they will call you a thief. You are stealing something. They will ask police to come and pick you. They can put any name because they want to excuse you. For your information, I have been in the oil and gas sector. I was not pursued as I resigned to serve my state. So, oil and gas is something I know very well. It is good when you're there, do your best to save the money and use it to do what? Set up agri-business, set up other trade and commercial businesses. There is need for you to remember that our oil palm is what Malaysia is enjoying today. You don't need to weed every day in the oil palm plantation. You don't need to weed every day in banana plantation. You don't need to weed every day in plantain plantation. We also have the coconut. We have cocoa. We have cashew. I think it was only in Enugu. I discovered that the state government have over 12 hectares of land for cashew. We drove through that cashew farm for about an hour, and I told the driver, go in. So we went in and we saw some of the forest staff, and I picked one of them, and I asked him, how is the export here? He told me that it is very huge. It was very huge. And he took us to the point where they gather it. Can I tell you that you don't need to plant cashew. You can go there and become an exporter of what? Cashew. Yeah. We have mango, we have cola nuts. We have passion fruits, we have guava. How many of you met guava in your compound growing up? Do you have it in your own compound now in Port Harcourt? Thank you, man. You have. Thank you, man. If you don't have, you can plant it. You don't need to weed around it. You don't need to pay people to work on it. Cultivating them on commercial scale is a lifetime money earner, and they even sustain generations unborn. A few years ago, as a banker, I met our father, one of our father, Dr. Ogbonnaya, former commissioner also, and he was living here in Nigeria then. And he had asked me to come take some deposit, and I was curious to know what he does. And he told me, I have an oil palm plantation. And I said, can I visit it? So I planned it. The following week, we went there. Unfortunately for me, the oil palm plantation was in my own village. And I never knew. All I knew was to go up in Port Harcourt and be a Port Harcourt boy. Port Harcourt boy, Port Harcourt girl, and so what? And so what? What are you exporting from Port Harcourt? We cannot keep exporting what we don't own. The oil and gas, we don't own it. Let's forget it. Remove it from your head. You don't own it. I don't own it. I'm not a shareholder in any of these oil and gas companies. I don't remember the last time they got their shares into the stock market for people to even buy. They won't bring it. If MTN, the one that me and you patronize every day, I'm sure a lot of you have recharged your phone this morning. When they were selling their shares in Nigeria, nobody, I remember, nobody could access it except the senators. Even though the House of Rep forced, they didn't give it to them. But the same thing, just 2 months ago, we were selling their shares in Uganda. And my friends in Uganda were calling me to come and buy. I said, why would I go and enrich Uganda when I'm in Nigeria? And we're running our economy in deficit. So, the common man in Uganda is not a shareholder in MTN, but the Nigerians that actually form the bulk of subscribers. I was surprised when MTN was saying that they have over 170 million subscribers in their last anniversary. I was surprised. I said, okay, if our population is 200 million and our old women and men who don't use phone are more than 60 million or thereabouts, where did they get 170? I now remember that some of you have 3 lines. You will load data and you will load what? Airtime. How many of you know that Ogbonnaya is a tree? You know. Do you have a tree in your company? In your farm? Good. So, Ogbonnaya tree should be planted, mango tree should be planted. And when you plant them, they are on their own. They are not calling you to come and weed around them. There is a fruit I used to love growing up because my father planted it. It's called soursop. It's difficult to find now. Even though the fruit market now, you will find it difficult. If you get anyone the price there, they push you. Yes. In those days, it will rise and even what? Drop. You have it your farm. Wow. Please, let's go back. You must not plant cassava and yam on all your farms. You can plant some trees. Okay? And then some of you are either a dam or you're even second daughter and your father's farm in the village, so big a farm because he was a chief. Go there and plant these things inside that forest. Nobody in your village will quarrel with you. The only thing is that when it is ripe, they will compete with you on who will eat it. She said they will take off. Alright. The next one is livestock. Livestock. The citizens are taking investment in livestock seriously. The region has no business relying on cows, goats, and chickens from other regions of the country. And that's the truth. I have a friend who started his ranch. He started a ranch with just 100 cows. 2015. He called me to his office and said, I learned you are one of the consultants here in Harcourt, and I'd like to talk with you. And I asked him, how much do you have? He said he has 15 million he wants to invest. I said, then you can go into cow ranch. He said, how? Cow ranching is not even in his mind. What does he do for a living? He's an agile contractor, and majorly he does what I call seasonal supplies for them. Like it's Christmas time, he will supply almost all the rice, if not all. And they will owe him until anytime they like, they do, they pay him. So there was this time they paid, and after he paid everybody out, he had this 15 million left. So he called me. So what do? I said, put it into cow ranch. Today, one of his cows goes for 400,000. One. 400, 500. And his cows are mixed breed. The cows are mixed. They were imported in from South Africa. And, of course, the size of their own meat. You know, sometimes you buy a leg of cow and all you're struggling with is bone. But for these crossbreed cows, you will have everything. So, livestock, goats. If you see the way we struggle to buy outside goats here, you ask yourself, why? They don't have grass to give what? Cow. Goats. We here that sit in the midst of grass, sleep inside grass, we wake up and look for outside goats to buy. And if for any reason, you go to any family and the family says, no, for this marriage we will not accept outside goats, you start quarreling with everybody. Why would I give you outside goats? Why would you collect it? Are you not supposed to have goats in your house? The strength of a woman in this place, in those days, when your husband has a profession, you tell him, my husband, don't worry, I'm going to give you what? 2 goats from amongst my goats. Now, if I ask you, where are your goats? You will show me the one inside your phone, Abi. Curiously, after water and rice, livestock and fishes are ranked as third most consumed product in the world. And the Niger Delta, which was self-sufficient in livestock before the oil and gas trap, possesses same potential today and forever. The water they will drink is here. The grass they will eat is here. So why don't you want to go into it? And for those of you who want to go into export, there are so much to export from livestock. So much. The meat, call it beef, pork, chicken, all of that meat is needed for export. Now, the bones also are needed for export. Yes, the bones are needed for what? For export. The skins are needed for what? For export. I told you that this lecture has a part 2, which will be coming up on the 16th, so I expect to hear on the 16th. Some of those questions we will deal with it. Today we were just trying to run over these few ones, and I didn't know how powerful goat was in the pharmaceutical and ornamental industry until I started producing soap myself. The soap I bake with is the one produced by me. And alright, so, and not only the soap you bake, you can also produce soap you use for all the domestic affairs in your house. If you sit down and calculate how much you spend on soap in a year, for you and your family, you'll be shocked that soap is one of the reasons why you think that your money is stolen. And especially if you are conscious of your skin, you want to bathe with good soap. and you want to also rub good cream, you discover you spend a lot of money on it. How many of you know that an average cream now, just market square here, Jared, just enter here, let's pick a good cream. You can't get it for anything less than 6,500. 6,500. And it will not give you up to 1 liter. They will give you something close to half a liter, 100 ml. And 100 ml is not up to half a liter, am I correct? So when you produce it by yourself and you use these natural ingredients, you will discover that you're saving yourself a lot of cost and saving yourself a lot of cancer. Man, I want to say I'm very sorry that a lot of the patients who have cancer in the hospitals are women. Over 69% of cancer patients are what? Are women. And doctors have confirmed, dermatologists have confirmed, that specialists in skin care have confirmed that most of the problems come from what? From soap and cream. You are very beautiful, yes, to maintain that beauty, you need what? Soap and cream, good soap and cream. And when you now want to, when you want to depend on what you don't know the source, and spend all the money, changing and changing it to see whether you can get the one that fits your skin, before you know, you have attracted what? Cancer. On this note, I want to say we'll take a break on this lecture and continue it on the 16th.
Thank you very much.
I'm also sorry that it was not projected. We will try and project it on the 16th.
Number one, identifying the product you want to export. Our brother there has explained various products that you can engage yourself in. I have an Indian friend who came to Nigeria as part of the product, and he said, in the streets of Nigeria is full of gold. I was like, how do you mean? Do you know what this my friend export from Nigeria? Bitter Cola. Bitter Cola have made him a multi-millionaire in India. But this Bitter Cola, he picked them on the streets of Nigeria. You see, there are golds in our streets. But how to acquire these goods and how to know the value of these goods is what our problems are. There is another trend that is also money now, seed, women of agriculture or women in agriculture. Seed, you know what seed is? Good. It's a small, tiny melon, that's correct. Now, who can farm such thing? Indians need it. Chinese need it, Vietnam need it, name it, separately. But here we overlook those productions, we don't call it anything, but they are actually the source of money we are looking for. Now the economy is changing. We have to also change to drive the economy together. And how do we change to drive the economy? Is to begin to look into exports. Sometimes we believe that the only way we export is when we move out of the shores of this country. No, you can still export eternally. How do you do that? Identifying the required or the needed product and then going into it. You cannot satisfy the market. It is impossible. If you like, let 1 million of you give in one product, you cannot satisfy the market. The market will always be a vessel to consume more and more and more than you bring. For example, Garri. If you look at Garri today, we look at it to be a local consuming food that is not important. But I tell you, Garri is more valuable today in what we eat. That is the product from cassava. How often do we produce cassava, and where do we channel our Garri? I was in Togo to make this research. Indomie is also another food that Liberians need. The Ghana man needs it, the Togo man needs it. Do you need money do you need a land to farm Indomie if you want to go into export? Okay, I identified Indomie. I called Liberia and said, I'm pushing 1 container of Indomie to Liberia. Do I have the regulatory system that will stop my product not to come into Liberia? I have identified 1 product. Now I begin to process the documentation that will allow that product into Liberia. I don't produce Indomie, but we have companies that produce Indomie here. Now I cannot go to negotiate with Indomie company unless I have first of all assessed the market and assess all documentation required of me to push Indomie out of Nigeria to Liberia. That's number 1. Identify the products you want to export and as well as the documentary processes. We call it product certificate. What documents, what certificate do I need that certify my product from here out of the country? When you have confirmed that, the next thing is my product qualified for export. There now you think about the inspection agent where you get like clean certificate of inspection. If your cargo is not inspected and these documents are not attached, and your cargo finds its way to the port or to the airport, definitely it's going to be delayed. It's going to be delayed. And those delays cost you more money. Those delays cost you commodities. Those delays cost you things. Why? Because maybe you did not consult a proper agent. Maybe you did not make a proper consultation. Then you run into loss. So here in NACCIMA, we want our women in export to have zero concern on losses. Losses that delay can cause, losses that the enabling environment can cause, losses that lack of documentation can cause you. This is what we tend to control here in the Chambers of Commerce. Therefore, we welcome you. We want you to pay attention into the program of export from today and identify the product, and I assure you I will be here to take you through the process to ensure that it reaches the destination end. I will take you down to what other thing that causes problems with exports. For example, those of you who will be exporting frozen items or frozen foods, for example, if you want to export yam, what do you need to export the yam? Do you need anyhow container to export the yam? There is a specific equipment required for any export you want to make. So, have your agent advise you that you need. Then when you know you have gotten it, then you are ready for that export. If you have not gotten it, you are not ready. Do not rush to be in the market. Prepare to be in the market. If you prepare yourself, the market will look for you. But if you don't prepare yourself and rush into the market will send you back home. Why? Because you will be rejected. And when you have put in enough effort to make a product and it is rejected, definitely you will not have the spirit to come back again. So do not put yourself in a situation where you will be demoralized to grow, but rather put yourself in a situation where you have the speed, interest, at the right process. And it's also all around loss if you make a single mistake. So please, if you want to come in the export, you have to be prepared. It is very, very interesting. It is very, very, it's full of games, but one little thing can also sink you all your funds and all your efforts. So don't make the mistake of, let me go out there and try. Don't join them. Make sure that you are prepared before you come out. In the import, please, what document do you have? Let me attach my own with your own. Sometimes it does not work that way. Do you know why? Your product and my product might not be the same. I have an experience. A client came to my office to seek to export red oil. Then I asked him the question, how did you source your red oil? He said, I'm the one I have my people, I support it. No. Calm down, madam. Just how did you source your red oil? Are you sure of the source of the oil? He said, yes. Now to him, he is sure of his own production. But the one he took from other people, he spoiled his business. And when the oil gets to the US, it was discovered that it's not the real oil. Now the real oil was sorted out. The ones that are not real oil was also sorted out. Now the market has been chilled. The trust has been chilled. So if you are sourcing a product, please be careful when you source your product and the quality of the product you have sourced for that export. Because one single bad product into your goods might hang your money and you go back to zero. These are experiences we have gotten, and that's why I put in my effort, because the president of the Chambers Administration wants to see people succeed, and we are here to support him achieve that goal. In as much as we succeed, the Chamber has succeeded. If you fail, the Chamber has failed. So the Chamber is putting up everything possible to ensure that we all succeed. That is why we are here. So we must succeed together. We must move together and we must get it right. Now we have been trying our best in learning, in doing something. I want to challenge you women today that we want to do one thing. We let us achieve one thing in this administration. I want 2 to 10 women that say, I have exported and I have received my export card. In this administration, that is my goal. As export minister, and I want to see you export. Come together, find a product, open a channel. Even if you cannot do it individually, you can do it collectively. Collectively, we can achieve one thing. I just want us to achieve one export in this administration, be it red oil, be it charcoal, be it any product, even if it is this meat pie, it can be exported. We'll find the market, then we will do it together. And when we have done it first, do it second, and do it third, individually we can now start. Because we have understood the system. We have known the path. We have learned the track. I think this is the way forward. We cannot continue to gather and let the principles, we can make it a step. Just like what our mama said, what did you bring before the Lord? And then he will look up to bless you. He will not bless what you have said with your mouth. No, it is what you present before him. Now let us come together as women in export and present one product that we want to be known with, that for Harcourt women in Chambers of Commerce is known with this product going to social support. Every year we do it, every month we do it, and I assure you, we all will be rich, and I assure that the boss of the Chambers will also be rich. That is our goal. That is our goal. So please, the bankers in our midst, this is where we want you. The NEPC, your boss is my very good friend. We have been discussing this. This time around, I want us to achieve something. If the bankers are coming in to help us, let them know that they are helping us for something. If they cannot help us individually, let them help us work collectively. So my question today is, ma'am, I want, before the next meeting, I want to see that this is the product we want to export. This is the country we want to push it to. And it is my work to make it happen. I want you to give me an assignment that if I will obey you. We can do it. Can't we do it? Can we do it? Yes, I know we can do it. Let us put fear aside. Let us put dread aside. Let us concentrate to create something. You are women. You are born to create. You are active to create. You are the woman that will make it happen. If you make it happen, the glory will come to Fatima. And Fatima will be proud of you and proud of us all. In conclusion, I will want to take one last example in export. when you have identified your product, when you have prepared all certifications, then how do you warehouse your cargo before shipment? How do you warehouse your cargo before shipment? In warehousing, we talk about packaging, proper packaging. We exported the flour, cassava flour. Do you know what condemned the flour on arrival? It has already accumulated at storage. And the time that the inspection department came to inspect the cargo is different from the time the cargo actually left the shore. Now it has accumulated more. Why? Because of storage. So your storage is very, very important in your export. Sometimes you have packaged your goods, but you store them wrongly. The good goods you package has already gone bad, but you don't know that it's already gone bad. And when you get to destination, your client will be telling you, or your concern will say, no, this is not what we had. But you said, I shipped this, but you don't know that your storage has damaged your goods. So storage is very, very important. Before you go into any export, any product for export, try to study its storage, an influence or something like that. Know how the storage goes. How long does this good store before it gets problem? And then you can be able to calculate your time frame of shipping your cargo out and getting your money. And I know that if you do this appropriately, you will not like to go out of export. Since I come into export, I've gone into losses, and as well, I want to tell you that my gains always supersede my losses. Last 2 months, I shipped 20 containers of mica. They just arrived China 2 weeks ago. After the inspection, I will be paid. I will get repatriation, and I will ship again. Now, I am processing 5 containers of lithium. Now, this lithium, what is going on? Now, if on arrival it's not properly processed, imagine the space it takes to move the container out of here to the destination, and they tell you it's unacceptable. How will you feel? So that is why you must have to do it right. That is why I must have to guide you. That is why it is good that you put down every single step you take and master your steps so that you don't run into losses on your export. I love you all, and I want to see you succeed. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I guess most of us were here in the last meeting, and my supervisor had the opportunity to address us and to talk to us. So this is just a reminder and a follow-up. Like that has been reiterated here, it's not just about hearing, it's about doing. And when the first speaker, when she spoke, everything boiled down to registration. Of course, you cannot get the help that you deserve if you do not go through the proper channels. And so it's always difficult for you to get help when maybe your account is your personal name. No bank will want to help you if you're a business person, because a serious-minded business person will get either business registered. But in Nigeria, we have a lot of business people that do not see the need. They always tell me I can run my savings account I can use my savings account for my business, and they are okay with it. But if you want to go far, you must have a structure, and you cannot have a structure when you don't have a business account. Some business people do not even have a registered business. They run away from it because they don't want to spend that 20,000 naira. They don't want to spend that 65,000 naira. They always run away from it. So the first question I'm going to ask you, are you registered? Because if Fidelity Bank wants to step in to give you money to support your business, I will not give you that money. They will not give you that money in your personal name. So you're bearing Joy Johnson. Nobody wants to give Joy Johnson money for business. Because it is that money is coming for your own personal needs and not for your business. So if I want to support you, I need a business name. So that we can keep track of what you are doing. It's not just about having a business. Some Nigerians, or most Nigerians, do not even see a need to do audit of their business. So at the end of the year, they cannot tell how much they've made.
They don't have a track record of what profits they've made. So I start my business with 100,000 naira, and at the end of the year, you can't even account for it. I visit some business places in Port Harcourt, and I feel like 6 shop attendants. I'm not talking of the likes of market because they can actually foot their bills. You go to some phone shops and you are seeing 6 people, 7, 8, and everybody is running out, and I'm asking what's happening here. Because if that person actually audits our business, you find out that you might not even be making as much profit as you should. Considering the fact that in Port Harcourt you have rent at very high rates, especially if you're going to look for a shop close to a strategic place. So you consider your rent, you consider fuel, because you don't really have light in Nigeria. Most places don't have light, so you must run some people run trains from 7 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening when they close. So you must factor all that in. Plus, those Biafra boys that will come to your shop to collect one levy or the other, doesn't levy, this levy. You must put all that in place. So how do you keep a track record of what you are doing? It starts with you having a business account. And you must be disciplined. Now, we're not just bankers because, we want you to open accounts. I've been in banking for over 6 years, and I've added value to my customers. There are some, I was recently transferred from Wudhiga branch to Nationality, and I know a lot of customers that followed me. Because it's not just about banking, it's about adding value. So I need to know, so that when I talk to you, you will know that it's not just business as usual. I must add value to you. So you must keep a track record. You have registered business. If you don't, you start with 20,000 naira, you can get a business name. You can get a business, and in 2 weeks you can get your business name properly registered with CAC, the tax identification number. And if you want to open a limited liability company, maybe you want to have 2 or 3 directors, you can do that with 65,000 naira. Maybe with a share plus or minus 1 million naira share. You can do that, and you can get that in 2 weeks. Maximum 3 weeks, and you can start running from there. So you must step up from just the normal business that you want to taking your business more seriously, and that starts with registering and opening a corporate account. Now, for fidelity SME, trying to support SME, what we do is this. Now, for new business owners that are coming to open accounts with us, we'll ask you, the first question is this: do you have a corporate account, even if not with Fidelity, any other Nigerian bank? And if the answer is yes, we'll tell you because your 3 months most recent transaction. So for instance, more practically, this is June, and you are looking for financing from Fidelity. You give us your bank statement from March, April, May. And now when you give us your account statement, and we do plus the first, we'll add them up together. Say the last 3 months you've done transactions up to 5 million naira. Okay? We'll divide it by 3. And it will give you 25% of your turnover. And the reason is this, so that because we've had cases where people come here, right now the rate of people that storm our banking halls to collect loans is massive. From people who do not have anything, from people who ask for loans to pay school fees, very, very trivial things, and you want so the idea is not just about giving you the money, it's about paying back. And most business people do not have the character. We have to see the 5 C's of credit. Some people do not have character. So they collect the money and they cannot pay back. Some of them will abandon their account and start using another bank's account. Just to frustrate the account officer or to make you look like most account officers have lost their jobs because they cannot recover loans. So it's not just about money, it's about you having the ability to pay back. So we're going to give you the money, but can you pay back? Now for our SME loans, we have the one for 90 days, that's 3 months, and we have the one for 180 days. And you can collect as much as 20 million naira without collateral. Yes, without collateral, you can actually access it. For me, I'll tell you personally, in as much as I want you to open an account with Fidelity and bank with us, please, if you do not have the well-structured business, do not lend from a bank. Do not lend from a bank. It's either maybe you talk to a friend or can join a friend who has means to help you. Because if you do, you find out that you might just keep everything in your shop to pay for it. Now, if you keep to your side of the bargain and we give you the money and you can pay back, we can increase. Say maybe we'll give you 1 million naira as startup, and you pay down, we can increase it to 2 million naira. But then, of course, we have to monitor to be sure that you're actually using that money for your business. And now for Fidelity Small Business account, for our SME account, we have accounts that you will not pay COT charges. Of course, I know a lot of banks in Nigeria that kill their customers with hidden charges and COTs. But now, yes, but with Fidelity account, on the condition that you do not go below your minimum operating balance. Now, for corporate accounts, the minimum operating balance is 10,000 naira. And for individual accounts, current accounts, the minimum operating balance is 5,000 naira. So if you do not at every point in time in your business go below 10,000 naira, Fidelity Bank will not charge you any COT. The only charges you will get on your account is, of course, your transaction charge. If you do any transfer, the bank charges you for the SMS. Okay, so that's normal. Transaction charges are normal, but if you don't go within your operating minimum balance, nobody charges you. Okay, so that's practically how we operate. And of course, we have our seamless online banking platform that gives you the opportunity to bank with us without even coming to the banking hall. I have some customers, year in, year out, I don't see them in the banking hall. They don't come. Sometimes I just have to tell them I need to see them. Like, just come. I cannot just be customers and it's only phone talk. Just come, I want to see you. So that way it comes to the bank. But if your online banking is working, you have an active email address, and you're good to go. Most customers, in fact, there's no need coming to the bank. Except you need, some customers don't come except they need to pay in cash into the account. And right now, CBN rules and regulations is even making it more difficult for Nigerians to bank with cash. We discourage it. If there are ways that, I know some people that have very viable businesses, they still do not, what they do is they look for these agent bankers, people that do agent banking, and they give them the cash. Because one is not good safe for you. Keep making good cash in your office and all that. So, that's it. Have a structure, register your business. And please, I need to mention at this point that if you are registering a limited liability, because we have some customers, mostly from those from the East, they register businesses and they use names that are non-existent. Yes, I have one customer now that we're trying to do a change of directors for him. I'm actually trying to do that, and it's even more expensive doing that correction than registering a new business. He actually used two directors that are non-existent, neither his wife or his siblings. And now, CBN has made it a mandatory requirement for you to produce the BVN of your directors. So you want to open a corporate account and you have 5 directors, you must give us their BVN. But if they are less than 18 years, you can give us their birth certificate. Because of course, if you are less than 18, especially in the higher institution in Nigeria, you will not have the BVN. So you give us their valid ID card and you give us their BVN. So please, if you're trying to register your business, some women will tell you, I want to register my business, I don't want my husband to be on the board of directors. It's fine. But please, if you're going to use somebody, do not use somebody that is non-existent. Do not use a dead sibling. Use somebody that is alive, that has a BVN and has a valid ID card. Because when the chips are down, you will spend more money trying to correct a mistake that you should have necessarily just avoided. So these are just do's and don'ts of having an account. If you do not have an account, this is an opportunity for you to get. In fact, you can even get the PAN number tomorrow. Our coordinator.
So what I really am interested in, on the collective actually exporting. Sorry. So what I'm asking is that, are we going to, so for those of us who are going to do it collectively, are we going to have a rallying point?
Are we going to meet you, or who are we going to see to bring in the little or the much we have for the purpose of export? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My answer to that would be, I have office at my warehouse in Lane, close to Seaport. But anything that has to do with your collective product exporting, please, we'll do it here at the chamber using your coordinator. Because it will not be, I might not have the individual time, but with her, I can always create time. We plan here, we do it here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I see this as the next step project. Now, what I would, like you said, what I would suggest is, we still have a monthly program. We can decide. We look at the market, like I talked about cassava, before my table. We can look at, there's so many products, byproducts that come out from that. We have cassava chips, we have tapioca, and all that. We can look at the market that we have and say, okay, everyone seated here, how many plots of land do you have? Everybody gets it. Yes, I just mentioned it. So everybody now gets this particular one. If you see the market for that cassava, either the gari or the tapioca or the cassava flour, CM419 flour is in high demand in the pharmaceuticals and food manufacturing companies. So we can start out with that as a project. Everyone, how many plots do you have? And we'll now collectively get the spend available for every person you plant. And we harvest, process, gather, and that's another situation.
My name is Patricia. I have run a company for some years. I was just consultant and all that. I just retired last December from civil service, and I've decided to go into production of agricultural products and then distributing trade. I've learned a lot from the export promotion that has been done here. But there is an angle that I'm looking at. Maybe our minds are not going that way. Nigeria is a very vast country. Nigeria is a country of, well, the population now is that we're almost 140 million. I don't know, Nigerian population grows geometrically more than every other country. So that every 5 years we have added another 20 million people. So let us say we have 200 to 240 people. My mind has been on a particular trajectory, and I'm hoping that this forum can also help me. I am thinking of exporting to the northern part of Nigeria. Because if Nigeria wasn't this big, the south alone would have been about 3 to 6 countries, and the north also. And if we were not the same country, we would not have that advantage of being able to interact internally without having to pass through any international borders. I've identified 3 products I want to be exporting to the north. As we talk here, as we speak, I'm already in conversation with my contacts up there. The palm oil that we take for granted in this place is very, very expensive up north. They don't grow it, they don't have it. I also, whenever I go to that place, I also find that seafood, like what we call it periwinkles, they are very expensive up there. I've also found out there is this thing that is very good for your system, it clears your system. It's a brand, it's a product, byproduct of cassava. I only know the name in my language. We call it Isinia. It's Topo Gari, whatever you call it. Yes. So I'm wondering, these are the products I'm thinking of exporting to the north. I have not expanded my mind to go out of the country. There's nothing wrong in going out of the country, selling internationally. But I'm thinking that we have a huge population here. And our geographies are not the same. The northerners, they export their cows to us here. Like somebody said, we are the ones that have the grass and the water, but we are not rearing livestock. They're exporting, what they are doing is they are exporting their products to us. And so if we can send our products up there, we're also exporting. I was thinking along these lines before I started attending these seminars. I don't know if this body can open up the channel for those of us who want to do international trade from north to south. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, export. That we consider export only to be when it has moved out of the shores of Nigeria. No, we can still export here. The north need oil. And if you can move your oil from here to the north successfully, knowing that what you're moving is the real red oil, not the fat one, then you are sure of your money. Then your client over there, before you move your product there, make sure you have a contract. Are you going to make sure you have someone who will receive it? You are not taking it there to go and hawk it wonderful and working in the north. You will make sure that there's someone who will receive your quantity who will not distribute in the north. You get your money. So within, export within and export without is all encouraged. We are here.
What Dr. Charles has said, we encourage local trade. Why we do that is, at times when people come to me for inquiry on export, I tell them, what product do you have? Start it in the local market, where people will look at this one can criticize it and say maybe it's too salty, maybe it's not or whatever. Start with all these shops, even around. Then you will make your mistakes, correct your mistakes. So this one you're talking about, just as I said, is local trade. But from there, you can build a brand for yourself and go international. So me, I would have advised that even if you're taking it to the north, you can start building your brand. There's this palm oil, whether Okomoko oil or so, they sell in most of the supermarkets. It's more expensive than these ones we buy in the market, but I prefer buying it because it's light. All those ones that concentrate on that, you will not see it. So you can build a brand, maybe start from packaging, 10 liters, 5 liters. You can have warehouses over there and outlets where people can go to and see that particular brand and buy. Thank you. Thank you.
I think you mentioned potato. Is it of economic value? Potato. Okay. Can you answer that?
Chairperson has done is to give me an opportunity to mention more products. When you mention cassava, what runs in my head is about 15 products. When you mention potato, I'm already thinking of about 10 products. And one of the things that will help you to understand why the products are many is that for yam, you have about 20 products coming from yam, just yam alone. And the only way you'll be able to understand how we mention one of the crop our grandmother used to farm, and we are now thinking of 20, 15, 10 products coming from it, is because technology has done so much to us. Our life is no longer the same. So, my sister here will mention cassava, mommy has mentioned potato, and I will just give you a general overview of some of the products that can come from potato. There is something called the potato pellet. Now, you just go to the next, we don't have 5 stars here. traced out here in GRA, and he said, give me potato chips. That is the one they have put on fire. But that in the field, the script, which they cook and you buy as potato chips, when it is alive, it is potato pellet, you can export it. And I'm happy that the question came that is the export only for another country. Yes, Nigeria is a country of countries. And when Chief was speaking, I heard him very clearly say, we also export locally. And I understand that because I know that we are a country of what? Countries. Our former president, Ogbonnaya, actually put it in blue and red, not only black and white. He says, I must talk to the 6th geopolitical zone at every point in time. So one of them go up for looking, he will say, I want to identify you by your zone. What he was actually doing is making you to be conscious of the country you come from. So the 6th geopolitical zone are 6 countries. So export can actually be done based on those 6 internal countries, then you begin to talk about the external countries. So Chief, I'm with you. And I hope he answered your question very well. Now you also have the potato starch. The potato starch is not like the cassava starch, and it is needed not only for eating, it is also needed for the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industries all over the world are waiting for your potato starch. Unfortunately, we don't even plant potatoes. Growing up, my grandmother would plant potato up to her kitchen. You see the lyrics of the potato entering the kitchen. I said, Grandma, what is this plant here? She will say, don't kill it. She will just, turn it out from the kitchen. So that is to say the use of the kitchen does not even kill the potato. It makes it to grow better. She will pick up the charcoal, and put a little of it with things from, of course, the poultry. She will add it, and the potato was growing very, very well. And she will just step over and bring that potato, and she's cooking food for us. Of course, I love potato, even up till now. There are some of my friends that call me potato, because I love potato so much. I want to eat all kinds of potato. And if I want to entertain you, I want to entertain you with all kinds of potato. So it's not only the chips, it's not only the boiled one, it's not only you also have pounded potato. How many of you have eaten pounded potato? Pounded. Like you have pounded yam, you have pounded potato. If you eat it, you won't like pounded yam again. Because it does not have any after effect. There are some people that must prepare to eat yam. You will prepare. Today I want to eat yam. So after eating the yam, you are ready for all the troubles that come with it. Potato does not have any trouble. Yes, it's very good for diabetic patients. It's very medicinal. In fact, if you eat potato, pounded potato, for 2-3 days you'll be feeling different. You feel like you feel like you can think better. It's like a system reset. Yes. Oh, don't even go to the cocoyamo. The cocoyamo is something else.
All of them are sweet. That white,
yes.
red,
yes. They are all called potatoes.
The Irish.
So that's for potato man, and I want to stop them.
My name is Ambassador Veronica Joseph. I'm a member of NACCIMA, the Social Welfare Director, and also I have an organization for women that is the Young Voice of Rivers Widows and the Girl Child Initiative. I'm running a program with the British Council presently of their reproduction with the rural women of our Wudhiga local government. And They ask of innovations for the women. So I'm so happy to be here today on all the things I have heard. And when they called us to Lagos to have a cross-regional session on reflection of what we have been trained, we are asked, what is the new innovation from what you have written in your proposal with the capacity building you have been given? And today I have learned a lot. And something came into my mind, and I want to ask about export, about all the different certifications. Like something like Gary is what we have been eating. And most of the things that are coming to my mind now to package is things that we have been eating. Am I still going to get certification on those things? Or I will just package it and say this is my brand because I have to show that the rural women, they have done something different. So please.
But I will assure you that 85% of the finished product needs certification, in as much as they are going outside the shores of the country. But if it is internal export, you don't need certification. Just like what the NDP woman said, he said, begin building your brand. I advise a lady, she's now making Gary in a sachet of this Bonvita, this packet Bonvita, that size. Now she prepares the Gary very fine. Now some has 3 cups inside, some has 5 cups. She measured them, and now label it and seal. Now people beginning to like the Gary. I advise her, put some Ghana. Let's see how the market in Ghana will look like. Now moving the Gary from here to Ghana does not require paper. Yes, it doesn't translation. They're moving the Gary within the coast of Africa, or even West Africa, you don't require one. You understand it? So unless you're going outside West Africa, because in export there is this West Africa export relationship of our product, we share product. So if you're in Nigeria and you want to go international, begin with Togo, Ghana, Liberia, just within. You can still make the same dollar. You understand it? And you will not go into too much sophistication and you get what you want. In practicing this, you become strong to push out. Thank you.
My name is Honorable Patricia. I work with Ministry of Finance and Industry in the Commerce Department in Sme Loans. And I'm privileged to be here. I'm overexcited. My question goes like this: I go into this taking. What my mama is wearing, I can do it. I just put over 60 women 2 weeks ago. My mama saw it. So I don't know where I can fall in terms of effort. So please advise me where and how to get it. That's my question. Because I was so there, and that is my handwork. So I want to find out where I'm falling now. Well, at this point, I'm not going to help me.
Anybody in China, when I begin my wood export, I just picked up my laptop and I start wood market in China. And a lot of information were displayed by the regions. Then I begin to research those contacts one after the other. And I didn't get what I want. And I now go back to my search again. Wood buyers in China. You keep using the language or you get what you want. Because you are searching. You understand, you are searching. And I go back to say, wood buyers in China. I find a lot of information, people buying wood, but not my kind of processed wood they are buying. I now go down again to a specific coastal buyers in China, coastal buyers in Vietnam. They put me in list of companies. I begin to go to those companies again. They started that, if actually they would demand from me, I didn't get market. Do you know what gave me market? I came one night, I was meditating. I do? What do I do? And I go down to LinkedIn. The LinkedIn. I didn't go to Google engine now. I went to LinkedIn. And I searched there. That was where I found a company called Musesoon. Musesoon. I got to myself, Wood, I really went to the pandemic. And I found an email. I sent a mail. I said, I have Pink, I have Kuso, I have Madrid. Which one will you want to buy from Nigeria? After 2-3 weeks, I got a reply. The Nigeria is a fraudster country, data, blah, 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 blah. Can I prove my market? You know, it was crazy. I said, well, a test will convince you. Can't I try? It's okay. If you want to try, we will not give you any money. You use your money and send it. When we receive it, we can now know that you are serious. It was not it. I said, okay, but can't you give me? I said, no, we're not going to send it. We will not give you anything. If you say you have the product, send it. It becomes an issue. How do I send this product? And I begin to study what to do. I am a freight forwarder. I'm in the port already. I clear containers for people. I run shipping. I said, okay, I think I can do it for myself. And I have to go to first market in a way where I purchase the wood, a container. So, okay, let me ship one container. Give me your details. Let me prepare documentation and send you my wood. If you like it, we can go into business. I ship the first container of wood that he requested. When they got there, they said, yes, I think you have a good species. They paid me. They said, can you ship more? I said, of course, I can ship more. I shipped the next one, 5 containers. They now pay them money to ship 50 containers for them. So you find out that you have to put in an effort. If you search here, you don't see it. You search here, you keep searching, you will find the market you are looking for. If you use this English language, it will not work. Change another English language. Keep changing your language until you find the one that someone there has used as you start doing online. He will call you immediately. And when you look into your profile and see a product, he will be interested, but remember, he might not give you money. You have to do it. If you prove yourself, the money will come. It will come. But first of all, do something. Take it to the Lord and pray about it. And believe in yourself, and then move on. You see the results. Thank you.
And on that note of improving your it's advising all of us to start from me. You know, we have to put effort, determined to do that. And that's what I'm deciding to do this year. Please, I want to see oh, yes, that's what I'm saying. I have that here. So I was like, why? All of us in the sport in Jesus' name. So can we have closing prayer?